Kill me, I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my latest top 10, and this time around I'm going to be looking at my top 10 favorite Marvel movies. Now, just to give you an idea, I'm not talking about just the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm talking about any movie that is an adaptation of a Marvel property. So you'll see X-Men, Spider-Man, other universes, and speaking of which, my number 10 is the first Blade movie. I love this movie. I think this movie is really, really underrated. I do find it interesting that I think there are a lot of people who have no idea that Blade is based on a Marvel property. Now, obviously, if you're a comic book person like myself, you'll be aware of that. But a lot of people didn't realize that, especially when it first came out. That this was really the movie that ushered in the comic book movie era, because without it you wouldn't have had X-Men, without X-Men you wouldn't have had Spider-Man, and so on and so on and so on. And this movie, beyond just being a groundbreaking film for its time, also is extremely entertaining. There's a moment at the beginning where in a club where it's Blade fighting these vampires that I think is just amazing. I love Wesley Snipes as Blade. I think he was perfectly cast in the role as this kind of humorless killing machine that is also on the side of angels. That I thought he was just perfect in the role. And there's a little things you could say about it here or there, but I find the positives of this movie are good enough that I can overlook anything that is negative. And there, Wesley Snipes isn't the only guy who does a great job in this movie either. There are his mentor. I think his name is Wexler, or here I'm looking it up. Obviously, it's Chris Christopherson. Whistler, that's what it is. Whistler. I thought he was great, and I loved seeing him in the movie, and overall, I just like this movie quite a bit. Then at number 9, I'm gonna have The Avengers. Now, I'm sure that there are people out there that would be shocked that this movie isn't higher on my list, and I feel like this movie has amazing moments and stuff like that, but there are also some parts of it that I find drag a little bit, and I also find the fight at the end with like all the alien creatures to be kind of unsatisfying to a degree, just because it is just, there's not, Loki's there, and all the scenes where they're dealing with Loki are great, but when you have them just kind of fighting the Horde, it feels rather like just they're taking on cannon fodder, and it kind of makes me a little bit less interested in it. That said, like I said, there's a reason why it is on my list, because there are it was amazing. I remember seeing it in the movie theaters and thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, they actually did it. They actually made a movie with the Avengers after making all these other movies and bringing them all together, which is such an incredible feat that didn't seem possible at the time, and it wasn't something that I'd ever really seen before, and that was awesome. And then there's lots of moments with like the heroes fighting one another that are great, and then there's like all Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, there's lots of great comedy beats, like Hulk and Loki smash. It was amazing. Next up at number 8 is The Incredible Hulk. Now, I know some people might be surprised to find this movie on my list, because I don't think this movie gets the love that it deserves. Now, obviously, if you've noticed the piece of artwork behind me, you'll probably figure out that I'm a big Hulk fan. The Hulk is my all-time favorite comic book superhero. I love the character, the juxtaposition of the brilliant Banner and the Beast Hulk is, to me, amazing. And this is definitely his best movie, in my opinion. And I thought it was great. I loved the way that they did Abomination. Like Tim Roth's performance in it was great. The moment where as Tim Roth is face to face with the Hulk, and the Hulk's like the results was amazing. And I thought William Hurt was great as Thunderbolt Ross. I liked Edward Norton as Banner. I thought he wasn't amazing, but I thought he was really solid. And I thought that all the scenes with Hulk were done quite well. The fight scene at the end, where it's Hulk versus Abomination, I thought could have been kind of dull as these two bruisers come up against one another. But I actually thought it wasn't at all, because you had the surrounding area filled with like cars and people and stuff like that, giving the whole thing some stakes that I thought that really ups the ante in the movie. And overall, I personally think this is a very underrated Marvel movie. Coming in at number 7 is Deadpool. I mean, what more can I say about Deadpool? The movie's hilarious. They finally got the character right, and everything about it. There's no really there isn't anything about the movie that I would change, other than the fact that it would have been nice if the villains were a bit better. And that's a fairly common complaint when it comes to Marvel. Ajax was okay, and Angel Dust was okay, but neither of them were. I didn't really sink my teeth into either of them, but otherwise I thought the movie was just great, and they just understood who Deadpool was, which really made the movie what it is. Coming in at number 6 is Captain America: Civil War. Some people might be surprised that it's not higher on my list, but I do think that there are earlier movies that are better. And I absolutely loved Captain America: Civil War. It was on my list of my top 10 2016 movies for a reason. It's immensely entertaining. The way that they gave every character their own moments, the airport fight sequence, the way they introduced so many new characters, were all done just expertly. But there are other movies that I think are better. Speaking of which, at number 5 is the original Iron Man. I think this movie is phenomenal. It doesn't get the credit that it deserves these days, because obviously it set up the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it also did more than that, because it was also a very, very successful movie. Whereas I didn't feel like that at all about either Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3. The way his performance as Stark has never been better than it is here, except for maybe in Civil War. They kind of compete with one another, but like in he perfectly plays the egotistical jerk, and also the guy who's been humbled and recognized what he's done in the world. Both sides of the character were done to perfection. All the moments where he's figuring out the armor, and he's got the fire extinguisher machine, those were all perfectly done. The after the credits moment with Samuel L. Jackson was about as exhilarating as it came. I mean, the only weakness in this movie to me is I thought that the Iron Goliath at the end was kind of weak. I didn't get that much out of that whole thing, but it's the last 10 minutes of the film. Otherwise, I thought this movie was amazing. Then at number 4 is Spider-Man 2, which to me is definitely the best Spider-Man movie to date. I'm very hopeful that Spider-Man Homecoming will be able to beat it, because who doesn't want to see a movie that they loved outdone by a movie that they could possibly love more. But at the time of this recording, that movie hasn't come out yet. And Spider-Man 2 definitely, to me, holds the crown as the ultimate Spider-Man movie. It's not bogged down in the origin like the first Spider-Man movie was. It doesn't have Power Ranger villain Green Goblin, who I love Defoe's performance, but his costume looked like crap. It doesn't have to set up the love story. It's just kind of there, and it's a through line, but it's not overpowering. The performance of the portrayal of Dr. Octopus was pitch perfect, and the way that they showed his powers working was amazing. And then the emotional battle that you had as a viewer watching as James Franco's Harry Osborn kind of delved into, or that didn't declined into madness, was done perfectly. And knowing the entire time that the guy who he was going to, and it was his best friend, was the guy who he would ultimately blame. It was extremely emotional, and all across the board, I thought the movie was done great. I mean, you had the train sequence was amazing, and then the moment at the end where he takes off his mask in front of Mary Jane, all great stuff. Number 3 is X-Men: Days of Future Past. To me, definitely the best X-Men movie. And you know, there, as a comic book fan, there was a part of me that didn't love the fact that they changed so much. And really, the only way in which this has anything to do with Days of Future Past is that it has elements of the future in it. But aside from that, it was a very well told story. I loved there were so many throwaway things about it that I loved, like the way that they, especially when they were in the future, when they were showing the way that they used their powers, especially Blinks, I thought was just so amazing. Like the way that the teleporting stuff was great. It was awesome being able to see members of the old cast and the members of the new cast coming together. I didn't love the fact that it was so centered around Wolverine, but you had to expect that because the whole universe has been so centered around him. The Magneto was awesome. The Quicksilver scene, of course, was great, but Magneto at the end, like the way that he's trying to do the things he wants to do to the president, that was all very well done. Like I said, the Quicksilver scene, I mean, when I watched that the first time, I was just blown away. There's just so much in this movie that I love. Coming in at number 2 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now I don't know about you, but when I first saw Captain America, what is it, the first soldier or whatever, the first Avenger, that's what it is. Amazing that I didn't think of the word Avenger until then. But when I first saw it, I don't love that movie. There's parts of it that are really well done. I thought the Red Skull was awesome, but there was dragged a lot in like the USO stuff, and overall, you know, I didn't love it. And then I saw the Winter Soldier, and I was blown away. It was amazing that in this superhero movie, there was all of a sudden this spy thriller, and it was done to just so well, and the action was great, and the emotional arc of like Steve dealing with the the trouble of dealing with his best friend, and realizing that they got to potentially kill him or what have you. And then like the Hydra reveal was great, and the friendship between Steve and Falcon, like they're across the board. And the Black Widow, it was so good in the Winter Soldier. I don't think she gets the props that she deserves. As like I think she's definitely one of the best parts of that movie by far. It just blew me away and wasn't at all what I was expecting out of a Captain America movie, and it was just so great. I mean, you know, that it was in tune with the Winter Soldier story in the comics to a large degree, obviously changing elements, but it was unlike anything I'd seen in the MCU before, so I didn't think that they would go for the tone that they did, and it was just so impressive. And my number 1 pick, if you haven't figured it out by now, is Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was such a fun time at the movies, and introduced us to so many characters that have become part of the lexicon now. And when I heard that they were making it, I thought it was such a gigantic risk, because even me as like a comic book fan, I didn't know a lot of these characters very well at all. And the entire time I collected comics before that movie came out, I don't ever remember the Guardians of the Galaxy being a very big deal at all. I mean, Rocket a little bit, but just a little bit. And for them to go and make this movie that made the world fall in love with these characters was so impressive. There was so many great emotional scenes, so much hilarious comedy, like the reveal of why Rocket got him to get the guy's leg was amazing. The music, of course, was just so infectious and memorable. I've said this to people in my personal life before. I really feel like this might be the generation that just passed Star Wars, because it had so many of the things that made Star Wars great. Other than like, you know, it definitely was a very different story. It didn't have the darkness that Star Wars can have at times. But I could totally see people growing up and having the same kind of feelings of warmth and affection for Star Wars that I have for Guardians of the Galaxy. And you know, I can't wait to see the sequel. The fact that James Gunn is behind the camera has me feeling extremely hopeful that it will be as good, if not better. And you know, I try to go into every movie with lowered expectations because I've definitely gone into movies expecting too much, but it's hard with this one because I love the first one so much. So that's my list of my top 10 favorite Marvel movies of all time. Let me know in the comments below what your list is, what you think of my list, if you think I'm crazy for including the Incredible Hulk, and please hit that like button. It does huge things for my channel. Gets it in front of people that may not have watched it otherwise. And please hit subscribe. I love talking to you guys about movies, and I hope you stick around. Other than that, have yourself a nice day.